In this video, I'm going to look at another lens from TTArtisan. TTArtisan has produced several affordable and well-regarded manual lenses in recent years. Now they have produced their first full-frame autofocus lens, a 75mm f2, available for Sony E and Nikon Z mounts at a budget-friendly price of $178. Lenses in the 50 to 85mm range are typically known for their strong optical performance, and this focal length is particularly well suited for portraiture and general-purpose photography, offering a slightly tighter field of view than a standard 50mm. The 75mm f2 allows for excellent subject isolation while maintaining enough background detail to keep the blur subtly recognizable. Let's dive into its strengths and weaknesses. I tested this lens on a 46MP Nikon Z7 Mark II. Sample images were taken with the Nikon ZF. You can see this review as a text-based blog post on our blog site. I leave a link in the description below. Most of the sample images in this review and many more can be found in higher resolution on another website. I put the link to there in the description below. TTArtisan kindly provided this lens for test and review purposes, but of course this review is completely independent. First, handling and build quality. This TTArtisan, like almost all TTArtisan's lenses, seems to be built completely in metal. The build quality seems to be solid and it feels quite compact for a 75mm lens. It doesn't feel to be heavy, but not light either at about 330 grams. There is no weather sealing or image stabilization built into this lens. There are no control buttons on the lens, but there is an aperture ring which turns nicely and clicks at every third of an f-stop with an A for automatic position, where aperture setting can be controlled from the camera. In front of the aperture ring, you'll find a generously sized metallic focusing ring that turns smoothly and feels highly responsive. The focus ring can be customized to control focusing, aperture, exposure compensation, or ISO sensitivity, or it can be switched off entirely. The autofocus is quiet and accurate, though it's not among the fastest and may occasionally hunt to nail the focus from time to time. The lens has a 62mm filter thread and comes with a front plastic clip-on lens cap. You'll also get a basic plastic lens hood with an unusual square shape. The rear lens cap has a USB-C port, which also works as a firmware upgrade dock. Now to the optical features. The lens construction includes 10 glass elements in 7 groups, with 4 high-index elements and 1 extra low dispersion lens. The MTF chart shows good center sharpness and very good overall contrast. Sharpness near infinity. For the infinity sharpness test, we look at 3 areas of the image: center, midframe and corner. Wide open at f2, the center at midframe sharpness is very good, and the corner is good but a bit dark due to vignetting. Stopping down to f2.8 improves sharpness slightly, and at f4 we get excellent sharpness in the center and midframe, and the corners become very good. The lens keeps the same level of sharpness until f16, where diffraction lowered the sharpness a little, but it's still very good. Sharpness at portrait distance. Let's look at the points of interest for portraits at portrait distance: the center, the inner circle and the outer circle. At f2 we have excellent sharpness in the center and the inner circle, and very good in outer circle. Sharpness improves to f2.8, which seems to be the peak sharpness performance at this distance. Close-up sharpness. The sharpness near the minimum focusing distance is not as good as at longer distances, but it's not bad at all. At f2 it's good, at f2.8 very good, and at f4 it becomes excellent. Diffractions shows itself already at f8, where the sharpness begins to deteriorate and becomes more obvious at f11 and even more at f16. The lens has some pincushion distortion, which could be beneficial for portrait work. Otherwise, it can easily be fixed in post. The TTArtisan 75mm f2 shows a relatively high light falloff at f2. It's moderate at f2.8 and low at f4. At f5.6, it's negligible. This is an average performance for a lens with this focal length. This lens suffers from a mild longitudinal chromatic aberration, which makes that you can see color fringing on the edges of high contrast shapes. While it becomes less when you stop down, it does not go away completely. Although, as mentioned, it's low and in most cases will not be noticeable. The lateral chromatic aberration is very well controlled and there is nothing to be worried about here. Flare resistance. Well, flare resistance is definitely not this lens's strongest feature. It's TTArtisan's nemesis. It's best to avoid including the sun in the frame or near the edges. The lens suffers from some coma, but it's irrelevant for this lens's applications, as it is not a lens that many would use for astrophotography. To get well-defined sun stars, you have to stop down all the way to f16. Even then, the sun stars do not have evenly long rays. This 75mm lens suffers from heavy focus breathing, which can be an issue for video makers. Now to the bokeh, possibly this lens's second most important characteristic. The bokeh exhibits a slight cat's eye effect in the corners, but it remains unobtrusive. Overall, the background blur is smooth and pleasant in most situations. However, it can become somewhat busy when the background has high contrast or features very bright specular highlights. At f2, it's easy to dissolve the background, creating strong subject separation. The bokeh performs very well, except in more complex and challenging background scenarios, where it is generally just above average. Now to the conclusion and sample images. First, the good things. Its price, its sharpness, and its size. Then things that are not bad at all, but not very good either, are distortion control, comma correction, vignetting, autofocus, and bokeh. Things with room for improvement are focus breathing, sun stars, and flare resistance. This lens is highly affordable, offering excellent value without breaking the bank. Despite its low price, the build quality feels solid and the optical performance is impressive for what you pay. However, I found the autofocus could be improved and it would benefit from better flare resistance. That said, its compact size and versatile focal length and sharpness make it a practical and convenient option. If you are looking for a good portrait lens on a budget but don't want to sacrifice too much in terms of quality, this lens could be the perfect choice. If you want to buy this lens or any other photography gear, you can support this channel by using our affiliate links. It will not cost you anything at all. I also put a list of alternatives in our written blog post on our blog site. As mentioned earlier, you can see this review in written format on our blog site. You can find many detailed test charts of sharpness and other characteristics with more sample images there. I put a link to the blog post in the description below. Huge thanks for watching. Any comments are most welcome. If you like this video, give it the thumbs up. And for more content like this, please subscribe if you haven't done so yet. Until the next video, have a fantastic time everyone.